Welcome, wonderful people, and this is Potter's Media. Today I just have a simple clip which I want to share with us from one of Apostles' message. I found this interesting, particularly my target is to those people that are subscribed or that are constantly listening to bloggers that have made content out of criticizing the church, content out of criticizing both fake and true prophet, that seek to look for every word a prophet or a man of God says so that they can make discussion out of it. Now, you might be listening to them without any intention, but one thing you don't understand is that subtly in their blogging or in their discussion, in their criticism, some of these people which I've seen as a trait is that they end up talking down on spiritual things. And when I mean spiritual things, some of them subtly talk down on miracles, some of them subtly talk down on prayers, some of them subtly talk down on tenets and principles of Christianity. I want you to understand it does not matter whether a prophet is fake, whether a teacher, a true man of God is living an unholy lifestyle. But one thing you should desist from is from people that continually speak words that are darkened, words that are without knowledge, words that end up speaking down on spiritual things, spiritual reality. You should be careful listening to such people because you never can tell. You might just find yourself transforming into what you listen to. So if you are the kind that always, you know all these bloggers, that you always listen to them here and again, either to know what they are saying concerning your prophet, either to know what they are saying concerning your pastor, this message I'm about to share is for you. So listen to this message, and when we come back, we'll discuss more.
Prepare notes to provide interpretation of circumstances, situations, so that there can be a body of knowledge that is available for people to relate with as they carry on their daily lives. Meanwhile, it's needful for you to know that that's the most primitive book in the Bible. It was written before Genesis. So the thoughts of God and the ways of God was in the cradle. Okay? So when Job was afflicted, so there were the philosophers, there were the cardinals. So if something happens within their domain, they provide perspective for it, explanation for it. This is why this thing happened. So you will see the other cardinals, if you follow the thread of their discussion, you will see that one of them, his philosophy is from the perspective of human experience. If you follow the thread, for him to submit himself to Job's scrutiny. But before the exercise begins, he wants to test the depth of Job, if Job actually has sufficient stature to stand with him on the same platform to argue on issues of justice, judgment, and equity. So he comes up in Job chapter 38 and he says, who is that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? That's his entrance. There is someone among you that darkens counsel, because his words lack knowledge. Do you know the meaning of that? If you had a little counsel, you had little encounters with God, and you sit under someone that darkens counsel, you are going to lose your little encounter. The conviction that resulted from your little private encounter with Jesus comes under attack instantly when you are found around a man whose words darken counsel, because there's no spiritual knowledge embedded in them. Are you still with me? Yes. The little encounter with Jesus you knew will suffer loss. Oh, you're not with me. So whereas the spirit of Elijah will reveal Jesus, I'm just showing you this is the opposite. There's a situation called darkening counsel. And just in case you're into the ministry here, this is what we must avoid. That will never get to a stage where our words darken counsel. And when God now came, are you still with me? You know, the Bible says counsel in the heart of man is like deep waters. And the man of understanding, he draweth it out. So how do you draw counsel out of the heart? You ask questions. So if I ask you questions, I can draw your counsel out. You get that? Do you realize that God does not speak much, but God only answers much? So if you are not good in asking questions, you are not likely to draw counsel from the heart of God. Doesn't speak. It's not a talkative. But if you are asking questions, he answers much.
But somebody might want to say, the message I share does not have any correlation, or maybe Apostle did not actually make mention of bloggers. But one thing you should understand is that I classify every words that speaks down on spiritual things as words that are darkened. I classify them as words that are darkened without knowledge. And I put them in the category of what Apostle is explaining. And I want you to do a quick test. Just in case you have you've discovered that you used to like a teacher, you used to like a pastor, and over the time you've discovered that whenever you are scrolling through maybe your Facebook reel, maybe your YouTube channel page, and you come across some of these preachers, and maybe somewhere inside of you, you just feel uninterested to listen to them. This might be a sign that you are beginning to conform into what you are listening to. One of the dangers which I have seen in constantly listening to all these bloggers that end up speaking down, especially bloggers that end up speaking down on spiritual reality, is this: if you keep listening to them, eventually you will not know. You begin to see yourself drifting from those reality. You begin to see yourself trying to watch every preachers, trying to close up your heart from accepting teachings. And you don't understand that the things that you listen to, they have a way of affecting your whole spiritual makeup. It has a way of affecting what you eventually become like. So those of you that end up listening to a lot of these bloggers that criticize, you know them all on this channel. I don't want to mention their names, but I have nothing wrong in disagreeing with men of God. I actually do that. Yeah, especially when that person teaches error, is perpetrating false doctrine. I come up here and speak against that doctrine, but not against the man of God, not to talk down on spiritual realities. So you need to be very careful. If you are hooked up to any YouTube channel, hooked up to any blogger that always talk down on spiritual things, you know them all. Prayers, I've listed them in the beginning, different spiritual things. If you are hooked up to any of them, it is better you desist for your own health, because eventually all those words that are without knowledge, as Apostle explained, it has a way of sapping the presence. It has a way of sapping your interests. It has a way of sapping your interest from God. So, to be forewarned,